Hello, I'm just Stanley with Standley Handcrafted, and today we're going to be making wax brittle. The wax that we're going to be using to make this wax brittle is IGI 4625. The reason we're using this one is because when you make wax brittle, you want the wax to be somewhat hard so you can break it apart. It's going to come out in pieces, and using something like Soy 464 or IGI 6006, it's just way too soft, and if you put it in the package, it's just going to stick together, it's going to melt. So any paraffin wax is going to be what you want to use for wax brittle. So to get started, I've already got the wax melting on the oven behind me. We're going to do something different with this one. I'm going to pour a couple different ones. I'm going to pour the first one, and we're going to add a color, red and purple. We're going to pour a second batch, a little bit smaller, red or purple. And then we're going to take those and then kind of take off some shavings just to give it a little bit more color. And then we'll pour a final one, which will be clear, or we might make it like an off-white if we can, and then pour it all together so that when it comes out, it'll look a little bit more like confetti, just to give it some kind of color or pop when it's in the package. Okay, so the wax behind me is almost done, so we're going to go ahead and add the color now, and then we're going to go ahead and pour that first batch. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled this one off. I cut a little bit of the red dye block, and we are using dye blocks, not a liquid dye for this one. There is no difference. I just had the dye blocks here, so that's what I'm using. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cool down for a little bit, and then I'm going to pour a little bit of the final fragrance into the wax, and then we'll go ahead and pour it into a tin that we can just pop out real easy. And then I'm going to stir this just a little bit, and then we're going to pour it immediately so that it can start cooling. And it's going to be so thin that it's probably going to cool rather quickly. And it really doesn't matter how you pour this one. It's going to cover the bottom just a little bit, but we're going to end up breaking this all apart and shaving it into the final one. Alright, so there's the red. Got a nice good color on that one. We're going to go ahead and start on the purple. Okay, I just went ahead and pulled the purple off. I shaved in, this is what I'm using right here. I'm just using regular dye blocks. I just take off a knife and just shave in a little bit. I've already got the color in there, so I just shaved off a little bit. So I'm going to let that cool down a little bit. The red is starting to get there. We can probably start breaking that here in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and pour the purple one. And the only reason I'm pouring a couple different ones is, like I said before, I'm going to pop these out. I'm going to break them up and shave them off. That way when I pour the clear or off-white layer, there's going to be bits of red and purple all throughout the wax brittle. So it'll look a little bit more like confetti maybe. Wax brittle is probably one of the easiest things to make and sell just because it looks nice. You don't have to worry about molds. We're literally going to pull this out, crack it up, pour it again, and then crack it up again, and then put it into some nice packaging. Alright, we're going to go ahead and let those harden, and then we'll jump on the clear layer. Okay, so I have the third batch of wax melting right now. This one is almost done, but this one here, we're going to go ahead and pop this out. And that's pretty much it. So we're just going to take this out, break it up a little bit. And with this stuff, it doesn't matter. I mean, if you want to make it more uniform, you can. This one is going to be just the chipped layers inside the final layer. So we're just going to break that up. And then for this stuff, get that under the camera. Just going to break it up and start throwing it in there any way we can. And there is absolutely no rhyme or reason to anything I'm doing. I'm going to break a lot of this up, and I'm going to leave about half of it. So I'm going to pour the clear or off-white wax on top of this, and then we'll put this stuff on top of that final layer, just to give it a little bit more texture also. Check and see how this purple's doing. This stuff is a little softer, but still breaking away pretty good. Actually, I'm going to break up half of this and put it over here. And then alright, so I'm going to let the clear layer completely melt, and then we're going to go ahead and pour that and then put this back on top of it. Alright, so I completely missed pouring and melting and doing all this stuff for this last batch, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you exactly what I did. I just ran out of this wax, otherwise I would just go ahead and melt it and put in another one. I basically heated the clear wax, which you can see is already starting to harden up into an opaque color. I went ahead and poured it evenly, or as evenly as possible. It doesn't really matter how even it goes into, because we're just going to break this up in the end anyways. Once I poured the clear wax inside of it, I took the rest of our broken up purple and red and just kind of crumbled it into the top. It started to harden a little bit more, like you can see a piece right there. If you get some pieces that are kind of floating around, you can just kind of push it right back into the wax. And if it's up and floating, it's not going to make a difference anyways, because it's just going to end up in final packaging. So that's pretty much it. I just went ahead and poured both of them in there, added the rest of it on top of it. Now we're going to go ahead and let this cool and harden, and then we'll break it up and put it into some packaging. Alright, so these are pretty much done right now. We're going to go ahead and pop this one to the side. We're going to put this out, and we're just going to go ahead and break this up. Now these pieces turned out probably a little bigger than I really wanted to. I'd probably break up the small chips a little bit more next time. But this will definitely work for the demonstration purposes. And this is a little soft. I'm going to wait probably another hour or so before I break up that other one. But that's pretty much it right there. And then you're going to want to put these in polypropylene bags. So depending on how you want to package these, whether or not it's a flip top, I've seen people put them in jars, but pretty much go through. And the nice thing about the wax brittle is you can break it up and weigh these. So if you're doing 4 ounces, 8 ounces, 10 ounces, whatever you want to do, you can pop in big pieces, small pieces, so you can get an exact measurement. And this isn't going to be what I put these in for the final product. There are some better kind of flip top, almost like parchment or paper bags. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Very quick and easy wax brittle. This is a very easy recipe and method to do. You really don't need to go into great detail to get fine edges or anything like that. You can definitely make this look a little bit better. I do 2 different ones on this one. This one is kind of really chunky. Things are sticking out of it. And then I'll do another one where it's a complete flat layer on both sides. So kind of depending on what you want to do, or I guess kind of what the theme is for the wax brittle that you want to make, you can go with either one. And then once you get it packaged together, and like I said before, this isn't the final packaging for the ones that I'm going to put on the website, but just a quick demonstration of what to do with these. And you definitely want to put these in the polypropylene bags. You don't want to put these in Ziploc bags, because the Ziploc, or the type of plastic that those bags are made from, will take out the scent from these wax melts. You can leave them just in, I've left them in like wooden boxes for over a year, and they smell great. You can put them in certain types of paper bags, and they'll hold the scent as well. And again, if I missed anything in this, or if I glossed over something that you want kind of a more in-depth answer for, just let me know. Comment down below. I answer every single one of the questions. You can also get in touch with us in the links in the video description below, the website, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, pretty much anything. So pretty much any of the links I put down in the video description below, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, the website, send me a message. I get back to every single one of them. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe for more.